Welcome to Kind of a Filmmaker. Today we're going to be analyzing 5 more camera moves that you don't typically see in films or TV shows. These are camera moves used with specific purposes in mind that you can remember for your next film. Number 6, the spooky shot. This shot can be seen in the 1963 film The Haunting, and it's a simple way to make your shot look like it's coming from the perspective of a ghost. These characters are in a house that they believe to be haunted. Up until this point, there has been little to no movement in most of the shots. But once this character begins to feel the presence of some unknown entity, this shot occurs. Notice how the camera moves unnaturally, it almost seems to float. If this was from the perspective of a human, it would not move like this. A handheld camera will probably give you the best effect for this specific shot. Number 7, the peek pan. In the movie Don't Look Up, we see Leonardo DiCaprio's character walk into the White House, and presumably it is his first time walking into the White House. Because of this, he is observing and taking everything in, including the paintings on the wall. And this is emphasized by the camera move where the cameraman just seems to pan over to the painting that Leonardo is looking at. He does this multiple times, and it really draws attention to 2 things. First, it draws attention to the painting on the wall, but second, it draws attention to the fact that there is a cameraman there. Almost like this is a documentary. A handheld camera or one mounted on a shoulder rig may be the most effective way to achieve this shot. Number 8, the Dollhouse. Euphoria has some great cinematography, and this camera move is no exception. Here we see Kat writing smut in her bathroom when all of a sudden the camera just starts to truck to the right. It passes through a wall and there she is again in her bedroom, and then passes through another wall and there she is again in the library. This camera move not only looks cool, but it is essentially a metaphor for the passing of time. The happenings of a week are condensed into a few seconds. Now all you really need for this is a wall. Just film an actor in one situation and then move the camera past that wall, and then just continue the move from another wall in another location, edit that in post, and voila. I call this the dollhouse shot because it looks like you're just taking a camera and moving it across a dollhouse. Number 9, the Slowmo Stepback. In No Country for Old Men, this camera move starts on a close-up of a medicine cabinet before it pulls back into a close-up of Josh Brolin before pulling back even further into an over-the-shoulder shot as his wife steps into frame. This camera move essentially consists of 3 different shots. It's basically like the camera is James Harden stepping back to shoot a 3, but very slowly. But you might be saying, Kevin, this is just a normal dolly move. There's no reason to give it a specific cheesy name. You're just a normal dolly move. Number 10, the Tarkovsky Slide. Finally, we have this wonderful camera move from the movie Nostalgia, directed by Andrei Tarkovsky. And if you know anything about Andrei Tarkovsky, you'll know that he is a genius at making dream sequences. And that's exactly where we find ourselves in this scene. And the reason we can tell that we are in a dream sequence is because the camera shows these 3 characters and then it moves to the right, where it shows them again without cutting. And you've probably had this happen in one of your dreams before, where someone is in one place and then all of a sudden they are in a completely different location that they physically could not possibly be in. Now, I'm not sure how they did this. I'm not sure if there was some tricky editing or if the characters just ran around the camera from the back once the camera passed them. I guess we'll never know. But I named this technique the Tarkovsky Slide because it is the only time I've seen this, and it was from a Tarkovsky movie. Thank you so much for watching. I hope explaining these camera moves and giving them names helps you to remember them for when you're making your next film. Subscribe for more.